What is your name, please?
My name is Guido Pensini.
Italian, huh?
You got it, kid.
Hi, I'm David Levitt, and welcome to another Groisa episode of Pop Goes the Culture, the untold TV stories you wouldn't have known from the stars who were there. Today, part 2 of my archival chat with the late, great Pat Harrington Jr., best known as Schneider, on the original One Day at a Time. Today, we'll start out talking about what happened when he was brought in to do the Steve Allen Show.
So Steve saw me, and he said, "Let's try this fella." He wasn't sure. I don't think. I don't know if Steve knew that I wasn't. No, he must have known. He knew, because I went in for the interview and did one or two lines, and Steve started laughing, so I got that gig. And then those guys, they were the best. They were the best. I mean, that was like matriculating at the Universal Universe School of Comedy. The writers were funnier than the performers. I mean, they had 10 writers, and Leonard Stern was the boss writer, and there was Steve was a marvelous writer, you know, and Louis, Tom, and Don, Gabe Dell, and then later on it was the Smothers brother, and Tim Conway. But that was a tremendous education.
Was this in New York or L.A. at that point?
Both. He moved to L.A. in 1960, I think, 61. So I did some shows at the theater on 59th Street, and then he moved us all out to the coast. And out the coast, I started working with Danny Thomas. You know, checked it with Steve. Yeah, go ahead. You know, because I was doing 2 shows. I mean, it was like, and I thought that this was show business. I didn't realize that actors were crawling on their foreheads to interviews, to get in front of. I started on Par. Hey, yeah, that's the way it goes. You know, my dad's in Broadway. I'm doing a thing. Boom, boom. You know, things quieted down in the mid '60s, and I got my butt into some classes, some very good workshops, actors' workshops, which I think is a must. You know. So,
how much of the stuff that you did was improv? How much was written with Par and with?
Par was highly improv, but Par, you know, Par was the best, in my view, all-time interviewer. He had some sense, an ability to realize this subject could go someplace, or I got to cut this off. But he pursued subjects that you would have thought initially were just lying on a slab, and exploded in laughter as he, you know, found his way through them. He said to me one night, Guido, you know, Guido's been over here, but it's 9 months. You've been here 9 months, haven't you? I said, that's true, 9 months. He said, now, you're married? I said, yes, I am married. That's a long time it's a long time, isn't it, to be away from your wife? Well, yes, it's a long time, but you have to do what you have to do. Is that bad English? So he says, well, now in that time, has there been any hanky-panky? Now he's not reading this. This is just. I says, well, Jack, to be complete honest with you, it's been a little hanky, but no panky. You know, and he laughed. He loved it. He loved it.
He could count on you.
Yeah, well, he also knew that if he didn't get some stuff, he could bail. You know, and it was a great experience.
Wow.
Steve, on the other hand, was a guy that if you got him going, I did a character with Steve. He's an Irishman. He was the real Irishman there. He was a fighter. His name was John L. Great. That's with a great right hand. Watch the hooker. Ha ha! Caught you there, Steve. And he would, if I gave him one response that he didn't expect, he was gone. I mean, he was gone. He was such a delight to work with. That laughter was so infectious. I mean, his laugh was extraordinary.
Well, you see shots of Steve Allen just falling, literally falling on the floor.
The hat comes down over his head and he's starting to slump in the chair. That shot is the one that got me. Yeah, Steve was...
able to work with these guys and to play with them on that level. And Jonathan Winters, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, Johnny was a great interview, and I did the show with him when that was my introduction, being interviewed on late night television by Johnny Winters, and he was very caring. He was, he gave me my start. What can I say? I mean, he gave it to me. He handed it to me.
That deadpan that he does.
When he said, "Killer, how you gonna stand there and not laugh?"
I interviewed John Amos a couple of weeks ago. He said the first time he met Jonathan Winters, they were coming down one of the halls at NBC, and Jonathan Winters was down the other. He said he started laughing before Winters.
Who was this?
John Amos.
Oh yeah, John Amos. Yeah.
Walking down the hall, I see Jonathan Winters. He said I started laughing. By the time we got to the point where we're like face to face, I was on the floor crying.
He hadn't said, and Winters hadn't said a word.
And he said, and Winters just stood there making faces at him. So every time he'd look up or start to get up, he'd give him an eyebrow.
A thing, yeah.
And he'd be all over the place.
Yeah. What a powerhouse.
Oh my gosh.
What a powerful comedy presence.
So you were playing in a very deep sandbox, but with the best in the business. What did you learn from that experience?
Well, like I say, it was like matriculating at a university, the Allen show. I didn't really, I don't know what I learned from the Parr show. Confidence, obviously. In that one character, I certainly hadn't worked outside that character. But to hear the audience respond to you, I accepted that pretty quickly. I knew that this was a funny character, right? Don't abuse it. Don't think you're Johnny Winters. Just do the character, and be honest, and laughs would accompany that.
Did you were you around when Parr sort of moved on to other things? When he's
we weren't close as he was with Johnny and some of the other people. So we didn't cross signals when he moved on. But I did write him a note, I think, sometime in the mid-'80s. And within a week I got not only a response, but it was so deliciously worded, so thoughtful, so genuine, that I was very moved. I just and impressed, and I didn't abuse it. That was the only note I ever sent him. But he responded in a way that was my recollection of the very, very best that Jack Parr offered.
I mean, it's amazing because both he and Steve Allen, especially at that point, and they were both brilliant as just individuals. I mean, just really educated and very able to do the comedy thing, but also just able to have conversations about anything.
Anything. Yeah, Steve put on a series called A Meeting of Minds, and where you'd sit down and have a conversation with Michelangelo and Thomas Aquinas.
Did you ever do the show?
Yeah, I did. Well, I forget who the hell I played. I played some
Guido.
Guido. I played Guido. Monsignor Panzini from the 17th century. Yeah.
I was right next to Columbus.
Yeah. I am restructuring canon law, so don't, bother me. And you can put 12 angels on the head of a pin.
No,
Please.
No more than that? Just 12?
You want to stretch it? Sure. Everybody falls off the pin. You see?
We can have a lot of fun.
Great. That's a great feed. That's just a wonderful feed, man. That's great. Yeah, that's a great instinct.
That's it for today. Next time, Pat Harrington opens up about how he felt as a guest star on The Danny Thomas Show. He'll also talk about his dad, one of the vaudeville greats. Till then, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and you won't miss a thing. And don't forget to check out Ask Them Yourself when you get to ask celebrities your own questions live. I'm David Levin. See you then. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you want to keep these conversations going, help me out by becoming a Patreon subscriber. Just $3 a month gets you first dibs on Ask Them Yourself call-ins.